The delightful and unexpected side of the iconic series is brought to light by these minor gaffes, which range from strange continuity problems to clothing mix-ups. Can you tell me how many there are? Let's examine it more closely to see anything you could have overlooked. Fonda turned down the part. While developing the Waltons, CBS was interested in casting a famous face to serve as the show's anchor and attract viewers. The late, great Henry Fonda was considered for the part of John Walton. At the time, Fonda was highly regarded for his roles that mirrored similar ideals and locations. One such role was his link to the original plot in Spencer's Mountain. The Waltons, CBS thought he would elevate the show's status and popularity. The option to consider the part was extended to Henry Fonda. He carefully considered the pilot episode. Still, he ultimately opted out of the role. Fonda's analysis was insightful, revealing his familiarity with the show's unique selling points. No one in the family was famous, he said. The familial dynamic was the driving force behind its unique character. Fonda understood that the dynamics within the Walton family as a whole, rather than any one character in particular, were the show's strongest points. Later on, it was hauntingly revealed that Fonda had been right. Even though Fonda thought the Waltons family was the show's true star, it was the viewers who ended up adoring them the most. The poignant portrayal of family life that became the show's trademark, one in which each performer contributed equally, was precisely what the program needed to keep its delicate balance after Fonda's departure. No, even though Henry Fonda passed up the role of John Walton to CBS, they discovered the ideal actor in Ralph Waite, whose performance would give the show a fresh look. It saved the show without spoiling anything and kept the emphasis on the family unit, which made Goodman happy. He uses the quotation to emphasize that genuine relationships between characters, rather than A-list talent, are what make a show work. The casting twist was shocking, but you won't believe it until you see what got passed in the next scene. Curious situations. Several fans remembered blunders and out-of-the-ordinary incidents happened in the Waltons. Season 2's The Sinner included one such instance. Grandpa trips and falls while helping Yancey and the Waltons extinguish a barn fire. In an unintended slip-up, he refers to the actress playing Erin as Mary Elizabeth rather than her fictional name. Pay close attention. There's a little crack that viewers can see. The honeymoon, which is also from Season 2, features another peculiar incident. In one scene, David W. Harper, who portrays Jim Bob, fails to meet his cue as John and Olivia get ready for their much-anticipated honeymoon. He rushes out of the image instead of gracefully leaving. He glances at the camera and mutters something, as if he were seeking direction. The same holds true with Marie Earle, who plays Maud Gormley. Viewers will notice that she mouths a few sentences. There were clothing mishaps even among the Waltons. For example, while sitting down with Jim Bob in the fourth season episode, The Secret, Elizabeth dons a crimson sweater. But the sweater is still there when she returns outside after visiting with Grandma and her mom. It only disappears when she goes inside. Even in Season 5's The Long Night, there is a complete lack of continuity. For example, Grandpa begins the journey to the hospital wearing dark clothing under his overalls, but on the way back, he changes into a blue and white checkered shirt. If anything, Walton's extra features have introduced new inconsistencies into the canon of historical continuity. The Anniversary, the sixth season episode, took place in 1940 and showed John and Olivia celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. John and Olivia are shown enjoying their 40th anniversary in the 1969 film A Walton's Easter, even though they ought to be celebrating their 54th. The Whirlwind, the ninth episode of the season, likewise features a confusion over who owns the car. Contrary to what Jauncey claims, the film Mother's Day on Walton's Mountain depicts him purchasing the vehicle in Deadeye Gulch, Nevada, from Harry's Used Cars. The Waltons' children's unusual genetic makeup is one of the intriguing tidbits that fans have brought to light about the family. The show's parents, John and Olivia Walton, share the trait of having pale blue eyes with Olivia's aunt and uncle and John's own parents. Given their lineage, it stands to reason that their offspring will also carry lighter eye hues. The fact that all three kids share the same unusual eye color, dark brown, makes this finding all the more remarkable, especially considering the family tree's history of this characteristic. If both parents have blue eyes, it's highly likely that their offspring will also have blue eyes. Those well-versed in basic genetics will see that the Walton children do not conform to this expectation. Rare is the possibility that a couple of blue-eyed parents could produce a new generation with dark brown eyes. According to most people, the likelihood of such an event happening in our planet is less than 1%. Given how much this differs from reality, it's reasonable to assume that the program might take a scientific approach to character casting and appearances, or give in to reality when it comes to familial characteristics. Finally, the show's writer's use of artistic license is exemplified by the unexpected eye color of the Walton children. Despite the fact that this trait is very likely inherited, it had no effect on the genuine warmth and interaction within the Walton family that won over viewers. The audience usually rolls with the weirdness because it's just one of many small details that make television stories interesting. The dangerous canine. The Walton family adored Reckless the dog, who became an integral element of their lives after making numerous appearances on the show. As the devoted sidekick who frequently made appearances with the adults and children in a variety of touching scenarios, viewers came to love Reckless. The series' endearingly simple and pure vibe was further enhanced by the dog's appearance. But careful viewers could not help but discover an unexpected contradiction with Reckless. The fact that Reckless is always addressed as him in the majority of episodes proves that the dog was born to be a man. The character's casual treatment of their pet only served to emphasize how uncomplicated this aspect appeared. Strangest of all, Reckless seems to be pregnant out of the blue later on, and the following episode confirms this. The story's central premise thus directly contradicted the previous depiction of Reckless as a male dog. This inconsistency leads directly into one of those strange, tiny mistakes that show up when you replay the show, leaving viewers perplexed. This is only one instance of the rare continuity mistakes that made it into the Waltons somewhere along the road. Even the greatest masterpieces have forgetting moments about their protagonists, whether they're canines or not. The dog didn't affect the viewer's affection for Reckless in any way. Each episode's narrator, even though most viewers wouldn't see it, the show's creator and writer, Earl Hamner Jr., made an appearance in every episode of The Waltons. This is one of the show's most intriguing facts. The narration he supplied for the show was his contribution. Earl Hamner provided the adult John Boy voice, and his opening and closing thoughts provided narrative framework and emotional depth to the episodes. Because his voice was audible in every episode, even though his face wasn't, Earl Hamner became the show's most frequent cameo thanks to this role. As John Boy reflected on his childhood in rural Virginia and the experiences of his family, his gentle, reflective voice became an iconic aspect of the show's aesthetic. Many viewers began to associate this recognizable voice with the genuine emotion and authenticity of the show. Earl Hamner made an appearance in the long-running series at least once, bringing his voice and mien with him. He paid a personal visit to the beach scene where Maggie McKenzie and John Boy are featured. He makes an appearance in a scenario from Maggie's past as her spouse. Fans of the show get a rare look at the storyteller behind their beloved stories as they witness the two dancing together. Earl Hamner's hidden function as a writer and his brief appearance in the film both serve to highlight his deep affection for the Waltons. The series' distinctive nostalgic and personal feel, which set it apart from other family dramas of the time, was largely due to his contributions beyond just writing. The old Walton home. Sets aside, the Walton house was an actual place. Every episode featured it, and it quickly became a symbol of the show. The house wasn't built at random. To further establish the show's rural Virginia setting, it was designed to mimic the author of the original book's childhood house. Representing the Walton family's lifeblood, its unassuming, recognizable appearance brought viewers a feeling of ease and acceptance. Filming the house was a major challenge, despite how authentic it looked on television. The Warner Brothers back lot served as the location for all exterior shots. Los Angeles, California, studios. It was mostly just a facade, the house. Both the front and rear facades were finished. There weren't a lot of practical rooms within the building, and the rear porch actually led to the cast's makeup area instead than the house. It wasn't the finished second story, which is frequently shown in broad shots, where those sequences were shot. In contrast to the now famous bedroom of John Boy, which lacks any actual interior space, the few lights that were attached to a wooden platform were simply linked by ladders. It appeared like there wasn't much going on outside, but the inside was fully built to fit the cameras and crew, and every sequence inside that hinted a family living in the house was shot in a different identifiable location. This home has a history that extends beyond the Waltons. Part of television history, the building stayed on the Warner Brothers lot when the series ended. After its arson caused destruction, it underwent renovations and was subsequently repurposed for the hit TV show Gilmore Girls. The famous house became the Dragonfly, and after receiving some contemporary renovations, that holds great significance for Lorelai and Suki. So, the Walton house is now an integral element of the Hollywood set, and its legacy continues not just in the hearts of its admirers, but also in the industry as a whole. The mysteries of the Walton house were already intriguing, but what's to come is going to be even more so. Through thick and thin, the Waltons prevailed. The Waltons' debut on CBS came at a time when the network wasn't exactly a hotbed for shows with a rural focus. A campaign to cancel programs on traditional country families and rural living was underway at CBS at the time, and the term rural purge came to describe it. The network's goal was to attract a younger, more urban demographic by updating its image. As a result, many doubted the viability of a show like The Waltons. The Waltons overcame all of these obstacles to become an extraordinary success story. Despite the network's predictions, the show was one of the few that made it through the transition. The series shot to the top of the ratings when viewers bonded with the Walton family's warm and welcoming dynamic. Despite networks' trends toward more edgy, urban programming, the show's success demonstrated that audiences still desired stories about strong families and tight-knit communities. In addition to securing a spot on CBS, the Waltons paved the way for similar shows to air. Shows like Little House on the Prairie, which followed in the footsteps of the successful series, centered on American families and took place on the American prairie. Therefore, the Waltons proved that, despite trends, there were still sizable audiences for nostalgic programs like these. The show serves as a reminder to viewers that network executives sometimes fail to fully appreciate the impact of relatable human stories at times. It was a risk that paid off for CBS in the 1970s, when the network was undergoing massive programming changes. Grace, affection, and perseverance. The program's iconic status was secured by the now familiar plot that set the stage for the program's ability to win over viewers' hearts. Congressionally appeased show. A network's programming decision wasn't the only factor that led to the development of the Waltons. It was shaped by prevailing worries about the ethical trajectory of television during that period. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Elizabeth Walton's actress Cami Codler said that the show's clean image was influenced by political pressure. In response to congressional hearings that questioned the moral direction of television, CBS sought out material that would address these issues, according to Codler. One possible response to these criticisms was the Walton family, which was characterized by strong morals, tight ties, and courteous relationships. CBS saw in the Waltons the potential for the show to demonstrate the network's dedication to producing ethically sound content. While the network was under intense public and governmental inspection, this helped paint a more favorable picture of it. The Waltons allowed CBS to have a sitcom that reflected the American fabric, which is why it had particularly current aspects in December. With its focus on family struggles and love in the midst of the Great Depression, the show resonated with its target demographic and stood in stark contrast to the more experimental and controversial works of the time. If it is successful, it might put some of the worries voiced at the congressional hearings to rest. So, the Waltons were more than just a show. They were a platform for a larger cultural and political conversation about the nature of television storytelling. As a result of catering to congressional expectations, CBS created a beloved family drama that became a television classic in the United States. A large audience could still be captivated and motivated by such positive narratives. The post was achieved after much adversity. Michael Learned, who rose to fame portraying Olivia Walton, had his own problems before he became a member of the Walton family. She was fighting alcoholism when she tried out for the part. During the audition, she actually had a concealed bottle of liquor on her person. Whether or not this played a role in Michael's casting is unknown, but regardless, she landed the role that would shape her acting career. Even though Learn struggled with alcoholism during her time on the show, she played Olivia Walton with the same expertise and genuine emotion that made her a fan favorite. Although she did not achieve sobriety until she was 78 years old, it was a long and winding road. Despite facing personal struggles behind the scenes, her path embodied the grit and tenacity she frequently exhibited to her on-screen part. By the time season 6 drew to a close, Michael Learned had already decided to leave the Walton family. She considered quitting due to the demanding nature of the role and her personal circumstances. To the joy of the show's devoted fans, though, she was convinced to remain on for a little longer in a reduced role, enabling her to lighten her workload without completely disappearing from the production. Working in the Waltons taught Michael Learned that occasionally there is an entirely different reality, picked from the most charming television drama photos. Amidst her own personal struggles, she crafted a figure who embodied strength, kindness, and moral rectitude. She left an indelible impression on the show and its viewers with the delicate balance she achieved between tackling these obstacles and keeping the role. The Waltons' tragic backstory. While filming the show, members of the Waltons ensemble dealt with actual health issues and tragic losses. Ellen Corby, who portrayed Grandma Esther, was involved in one of the major occurrences. While filming the show, Ellen had a stroke in real life. Her husband quickly sought medical assistance after seeing her unconscious on set. The creative team seamlessly incorporated her absence into the plot, enabling her to recuperate without disrupting the flow of the show. At the age of 87, Ellen returned to the show and kept performing right up until her death on April 14, 1999. Will Geer's death was a devastating blow to the cast and audience because he played Grandpa Zeb Walton. Will was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for his 6 seasons of portraying the part. On April 22, 1978, at the age of 76, he passed away due to respiratory failure. His purported devotion to the arts persisted until his death, as he performed poetry and melodies on his deathbed. The show respectfully ended his character's run after his passing. Even the oldest cast members exhibited health-related fears. The show's Erin, played by Mary Elizabeth McDonough, had her share of problems throughout her time there. The pressure to be the most attractive person she knew caused her to overeat and eventually develop an ulcer, she said. They would secretly tell me I was the most attractive, even though I didn't think I was ugly, Elizabeth revealed. That did not provide any solace. Someone else's sentiments might be wounded by it. The accompanying pressure was further detailed by her. Even though she attempted to conceal her symptoms from the rest of the actors, John Ritter, who played Reverend Matthew, was able to discern that something was up. His encouragement to start journaling had a profound effect on her emotional and physical well-being. In contrast to the perfect family they depicted on screen, these events serve as a reminder to viewers that the Waltons were really just actors with real lives. In the same way that the real-life family they portrayed helped one another through tough times, the cast helped each other through tough times as well. Despite the chaos, the show remained grounded in reality because to their resilience and perseverance. The upcoming adventure of the lead actors. Many of the actors and actresses from the Waltons went on to great success after the show ended. The actor who played Olivia Walton, Michael Learned, continued to put forth consistent effort. A number of popular daytime programs included her appearances, including General Hospital, All My Children, One Life to Live, and Scrubs. After leaving the popular family drama, Michael was able to effortlessly move into other parts thanks to her aptitude and adaptability. The rest of the cast went their separate ways. Playing Jason Walton, John Walmsley, was also a talented musician. He was a multi-talented actor who also provided the voice of Christopher Robin in the Winnie the Pooh films and went on to have a prosperous career as a singer and musician. Actress Judy Norton, who played Mary Ellen, was in the news after posing for Playboy, but has since faded from view. She took up activities such as skydiving, skiing, horse jumping, and tennis. Additionally, she currently hosts a YouTube channel where she discusses and analyzes past Waltons episodes. Eric Scott, who plays Ben Walton, is well known for his acting career, but he also has a background in business, having owned Chase Messengers, a delivery service. David Harper, who had a brief part in the 1985 comedy Fletch following the Waltons, retired after playing Jim Bob. Supposedly, he is chronicling his life in an autobiography, and perhaps returned to the spotlight. After the show ended, each of the many cast members went their own unique way, leaving their imprint on the world. Actor Richard Thomas, who played John Boy and left the show after the 5th season, is one of several stars who are still going strong in the entertainment industry. He was in several TV shows and movies, including the 1979 miniseries Roots, NCIS, New Orleans, and The Americans. He was also in the most recent Waltons revival. John Walton's on-screen counterpart, Ralph Waite, battled with alcoholism that affected his personal life. Despite this, he went on to star in numerous films and television shows, including Little House on the Prairie. Before passing away in 2014 at the age of 85, he even made 3 runs for Congress. These instances illustrate how the Walton cast's enduring spirit has taken them into a new phase of their life. The Waltons' goal, when the clock ran backwards, was to faithfully portray life in rural Virginia during the Great Depression. However, it could still contain errors about the past. Posters and signage from that era were a constant source of trouble. In instance, the exhibition featured National Recovery Administration, NRA, advertisements that had typographical errors that were unheard of back then. Take the 1973 episode The Deed as an example. It uses forward instead of advance. Even in that year's bequest, the spelling is off. In light of the show's attempts to establish a realistic background, these minor mistakes stood out. Another major shift in time occurs in the episode The Burnout, which is about a wiring fire. The issue at hand is, the story takes place in the 1930s, long before the Waltons' hometown of Schuyler, Virginia, had any TVA cables. The Tennessee Valley Authority's electrical wires actually wouldn't have made it to that area until 1937. Even virtually few people at the time would have noticed. This rendered the episode's premise historically incorrect. Similarly, the Waltons' fashion choices were more influenced by current trends than by those of the time. Despite the show's setting in the 1940s, characters started donning 1970s hairstyles, including feathery locks and lengthy sideburns in later seasons. Subtle but glaring anachronisms clashed with the show's intended time range due to the blending of contemporary fashions with a period setting. The same errors also affected the show's character pairings. Although they were previously shown with different teachers, it seems like John Boy and Jason are in the same class in multiple episodes. This is an interesting detail to note. John Boy, Jason, Ben, and Elizabeth were all taught by Miss Hunter at different points in their school careers. How did that come to pass? True believers have been quick to notice these slip-ups and the rare time period confusion throughout the years. On occasion, the historical discrepancies were also influenced by the set decorations and props. Observant spectators saw a variety of contemporary artifacts, such as logo-adorned glass jars and other package designs that would have been completely non-existent during the Great Depression. To the untrained eye, these seemingly little features in the backdrop become paramount. Curious about the endeavor to recreate the 1930s. There may have been a lot of production values put into the Waltons universe, but these moments show that some modern touches made it through. Keep that idea in mind. Fans were caught off guard by the latest piece of Waltons trivia. Out of the writing comes a date. One of the show's pillars was the chemistry that existed between John and Olivia Walton when they were on screen. They became one of the most beloved couples on television because fans could relate to the characters' strong bond and love. This connection went beyond acting. Michael Learned and Ralph Waite, who played John and Olivia, respectively, had a real friendship, and it shone through in the scene. Their strong relationship made them a real team as a husband and wife. Michael and Ralph were so enamored with their collaboration that they pondered whether their bond could transcend the realm of television. They went on a real-life date because they hoped their relationship would last beyond the virtual realm. Those who loved seeing them work together on TV may have wished that the stars' obvious attraction for one another would blossom into something more serious. Viewers who stuck around for the long haul found the prospect of their friendship developing into something more thrilling and touching. Knowing there was real love between them heightened the interest in their performances. Whether or not their date resulted in a romantic relationship, it demonstrated the depth of their bond. Unfortunately, their romance outside of the show never progressed. Michael and Ralph opted out of a romantic relationship after only one date. They stayed close as co-workers and kept giving the powerful, convincing performances that made the Waltons' marriage appear so genuine and touching to viewers, even though they briefly dabbled in something other than friendship. Their commitment to the trade was evident in their ability to keep their emotions separate from their professional duties. It kept the emotional continuity that fans had grown to love and made sure their on-screen chemistry didn't get broken. Their bond only became stronger with the passing of time, providing a solid groundwork for the series' central plot points. This regard, rather than the capacity to maintain professionalism and respect following a mutual decision to end a relationship, is where the show achieves new heights. Ensuring the utmost professionalism in their professional relationship allowed fans to enjoy the same intriguing dynamics between John and Olivia, complete with the famous fuzzy edges. One of the most renowned TV couples' histories is detailed in this lengthy personal website. It's a great example of how genuine relationships, even if they don't develop romantically, can greatly enhance fictional narratives. With each look, word, and silent moment, viewers could feel the genuine emotion between the two protagonists. Ultimately, their mutual past contributed to the enduring quality of John and Olivia's relationship. Absolutely accurate. They bolstered the show's dynamic by deciding to put their friendship and collaboration first. The Waltons' lasting impact was further enhanced by Michael and Ralph's ability to pour their real-life connection into performances that felt emotionally honest, all while preserving mutual respect and setting clear boundaries. Their characters' love narrative remained unbroken because of their professional maturity, without allowing one's private life to get in the way. The show's signature cozy, familial vibe is probably at least in part due to the trusting and collaborative environment it fostered on set. They applied the same poise and care to their on-screen characters that they displayed when handling complicated emotions off-screen. I appreciate you tuning in. Please hit that like button if you had fun finding these hilarious Waltons bloopers. Share your favorite mistake by commenting below. And don't forget to subscribe